The automobile is not just an ordinary machine. If it were, no one would be so particular about it. A lot of communication takes place between people and the automobile, and that communication gives a new dimension of pleasure and enjoyment to driving. That's one reason why people want cars they can operate naturally and freely, just as they move their own limbs as they please. The cars we build at Nissan provide that very kind of driving pleasure and enjoyment, and produce feelings of excitement and delight. If we look closely at those sensations, we find they are based on trust and peace of mind. That's because our cars hold the road firmly at all times, and that feeling of dependability is conveyed back to the driver. That's the kind of car we build, and that's our idea of what driving pleasure is all about. The driver presses the accelerator casually and releases the clutch. He turns the steering wheel lightly and points the car in its forward direction. During this brief instant, the car's essential character is conveyed to the driver. Too sensitive a response is not good. What the driver wants is natural motion. Motion so smooth as to be seemingly effortless. That type of motion translates into ideal vehicle behavior. Now the dialogue between the car and the driver begins. The movement of the tires is conveyed to the driver's palms. The driver can feel the contact between the rubber and the road surface, and the generation of power that moves the car forward. Just because this is a race circuit doesn't mean it gives the tires any special grip. The surface has very small irregularities, and the degree of roughness varies from place to place. After all, there are many different types of paved surfaces. The driver's hands can feel these minute changes in the road surface as subtle bits of information that are conveyed through the steering wheel. The driver comes upon one new corner after another. That's the way this circuit is laid out. The road surface condition, vehicle status, and driving rhythm. These elements are never repeated twice in exactly the same way. Driving is much like a continuous improvising of jazz. And for that very reason, we want a car to be a beautiful instrument. During the dialogue with the driver, a car should convey the rhythm of its motion naturally and unconsciously. A race circuit allows the ultimate form of dialogue between the car and driver. On the circuit, the driver can bring out the car's full potential. And since the development work proceeds under that condition, the margin for avoiding dangerous mishaps can be expanded dramatically. As a result, the occurrence of accidents that happen during ordinary driving is precluded. Therefore, on the circuit, we want a car with high levels of dynamic performance. But eliciting that performance should not place any undue pressure on the driver. The car should convey sufficient information to the driver to allow the driver to predict and also control the car's behavior. That requires a reliable feedback loop between the car and the driver. It was a good run. The driver is filled with a deep sense of satisfaction. He takes a deep breath, and both the car and the driver can relax. Though different from the ultimate dialogue, the driver unconsciously receives various kinds of information from the car while running on different types of roads. An excellent car is one that continues to convey accurate information to the driver, even though the level of requirements imposed on the feedback loop might change. At NISSAN, we have developed a number of exciting new technologies recently for the purpose of enhancing vehicle performance. These new technologies are designed to work together to improve the essential qualities of a car. We are confident that the performance they deliver will fulfill the driver's wishes and expectations in a way that feels just right. And that, in short, is the essence of Nissan's philosophy of driving pleasure.